I am just going to take you in my software, which is Honeybook. Do you have to use Honeybook? No, you don't have to use Honeybook as long as you're using something. But let me show you why this is so important and something that you need, especially if you're playing private gigs often. I am in my Honeybook. This kind of tells me some pertinent things right here. And then I have some tasks for myself. Here are the common templates that I have. If somebody inquires with me and then I want to hand them a brochure and I said, here's what I do. Then if you flip the page, it's going to take you to the contract. So you can sign here and then you can pay here. That is what files are like, except they are mobile and desktop friendly. But I'll get into those in just a minute. And then there's some other information down here. Now, if I come over here, like this is what in sales you would call a pipeline. So no inquiries. One requires following up. You can change what this pipeline says, but right now this is the default. Let me show you a couple other things in here because I just realized that in my rant, I forgot to tell you all about having a calendar. CRMs, a good solid one, has one that is already built in. Now, sometimes people want more functionality than what is in the native schedulers on the CRMs. So a lot of times they will use things like Calendly. But I found that this is very sufficient for what it is I'm trying to do. You'll see how this all ties in just a little bit later. Also, automations. I have very easy peasy automations. Very few steps, but you know what? They get the job done and it makes sure that I get paid. Now you can make these as complicated as you want, or you can make them as easy as you want. Anyway, let's get back to how this works. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to my website. I'm going to go to contact and I'm just going to call myself. I've done this before, so a lot of these things are going to pop up. Milady. This is a dummy account of mine. Don't try to email me here. We are going to say, just for the sake of showing you how this works, that this is a wedding. Shout out to the refinery. And I also like to figure out how they found out about me. And we would just say the previous client. Okay. Great. See this new page that popped up here? We call this a redirect. So I have mindset that when they submit something on my CRM, it's on my website. By the way, everything that you saw was embedded from my CRM onto my website. So it sends into this page and it lets them know that I will be getting back to them very soon. And then I give them the option to follow me on Instagram and to subscribe on YouTube. Usually after I get an inquiry, I all of a sudden get a follower on Instagram. Let's see how this looks on my end. Over here, as you see, it says I have a new lead. By the way, this also sent me an email and I have the Honeybook app, so it has also notified me. Those are the two noises. And with that, let me actually show you what's going on the mobile version of this. As you can see, I'm on my phone now. I got a lead. It's telling me, hey, look, Milady Gigs, a new inquiry is just added. That is the email notification. And then here is the Honeybook one. The cool thing about using the Honeybook app is that there is now AI available. It has noted how I usually respond to things. You have the option of using the AI composer, or you can do it the good old-fashioned way and just write it with some email templates. I do a mix between both, but let me just show you on the computer side how I typically respond to people. We are back. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the weddings automation in it. All right. I am going to come over here where one of my templates is and just say, hey, look, it's already filled out her name. Hey, Milady, I am so happy to do this. Now, usually what I do is I do some sort of quick customization here. I'm just going to leave this as is for the sake of this video. I usually don't send it completely as is, but I have this as a skeleton, and then I just fill in some more personal details depending on what it was they said when they filled out my form. Now notice this right here where it says to schedule a call, and I encourage them again to schedule a call. And then I always try to close my emails with a question to keep the conversation going. Let's see what this looks like over here. On Milady's side, she gets this thing that says, hey, Milady, thank you so much. Schedule a call with me. And then this gives them my calendar according to what I have available. I have this particular scheduler set, so there's only a certain range of time that they can schedule me. Like this doesn't go out past 2 weeks. And they can't schedule it too soon because I need to make sure that I can give them full attention, especially if my kids are home. When they put in their time, it'll send them text reminders. So that's spectacular. It'll send you a text reminder, it sends them a text reminder. Then over here, it's told them that's scheduled. Now I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to pretend like we already had our chat and I am just going to send them information. But before I do that, one thing I don't have, because I don't want to have them filling out too much stuff on my thing, is I'm going to put in the refinery. This is one thing that I love about Honeybook and some other CRMs is that they automatically populate locations so I don't have to go to Google and keep copying and pasting. And initially it said that the start time is going to be 5. We'll say 5 to 7. Sure, why not? And then it's going to mark it as busy in my calendar. Go and take a look at my calendar for that day. You'll see that there is Milady Gigs project. Now let's get out of this and let's go back over here. You'll see why I put this address in here. This is because I'm going to create a new file. For weddings, I typically have one that says weddings, but I actually really like using this one because I'm really proud of it. Let's just take a look at it just so you can see. Here's my Spark file. And just for the sake of today's demonstration and because I don't want to accidentally charge myself, I am to set my gig to only $20. Now you can set this in other ways. Like if you want to give them other options so that they hit select or they choose from like a menu style, you have that option. In this particular case, I'm just keeping it as simple as possible and I'm only making it this one thing. Now, for other gigs that are out of state, I automatically add travel on here. And so you would see on the bottom, travel. All right, let's take a look at how this is going to look for them. I always check this before I send it. And then what they'll do is they'll hit next. This is a review of the services, $20. Now I automatically have their payment schedule. So it's half of it to book me. So they'll pay $10 today to get on my calendar. And then a week before the wedding, they have to pay the remaining balance to make sure we're green light and ready to go. No more chasing people while you're at a gig. You just need to concentrate on your music. Now, here it has all the different fields already populated in. Like my contract, it has the date, it has the start time, and then they initial it so that they know what my overtime rates are. This is actually set to what my old overtime rates are. So that is something I need to go through and change on like my master copy. But anyway, it has the rate of what they're agreeing to pay and the payment schedule. I don't have to touch anything, okay? And then they can sign this directly from their phone or their computer. They don't have to print it out. They don't have to download an extra app. It is right there in their browser, easy peasy. Then it will take them to the payment. And with the payment, they have the option to tip. They can use a card. If you're using another CRM, usually the payment processors are Stripe, one that's native to the CRM, or it's PayPal. And it'll give you those options. In this case, Honeybook only has their payment processor. Their fees are no higher or lower than anybody else's. It's about the same. But in case you're working with a corporation that only pays via bank transfer, they do have that option as well. And then we will share the file. Now, if you want added protection, then you can turn on this client authentication. I find it to be really annoying. I don't like it. So here we go. Hey, I'm so glad that we've got the chat, and then it walks them through this. Okay, then I will hit send. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Great, it sent it to them. All right, let's get started. You can also customize that button. It does not have to say get started. It can say something else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sign the contract, but I'm not going to pay $20 because I don't feel like doing that. Cool. And in payment, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to pay a different way. I'm going to indicate that on my side. Here, mark as paid. The reason why this is important, as soon as that happened, notice what I'm doing here. I'm not touching anything. I didn't touch anything. All right, let me go back and show you what has happened on her end. There we go. I did not touch anything. Did you see that? I didn't touch anything. It has already sent her next steps. I didn't have to do anything. Do you know how incredibly awesome that is? Okay, so it is now given them steps. This is why I get so excited about this, okay? Like, thank you for completing the invoice and the contract. Here are the next steps. And I give them instructions on what to do. They have what's called a client portal. They will fill out this questionnaire. Okay, partner A, partner B. the song requests, and then I give them the parts of the wedding that you should consider having some music. Then here's the really cool part. Something that I was running into issues with is I wanted them to be able to have a song list. Now I know I was kind of talking about Google Sheets and all that, but they click on that and then it gives them the option to make a copy into their Google Sheets. This is a very extensive list. I have instructions for what they need to do. And there's a picture of me down at the bottom. These are all the songs I have ever done. I actually tell them that I recommend just going through having some must-haves and some do not plays. But these are all the options that they have. Then, in addition to that, if they have some other songs that are not on there, I give them a space to write out those songs. Clean or explicit lyrics, because that is becoming a thing. Then I go through and I tell them to give me information about who I need to contact at the venue, their wedding coordinator, if they have one. Most of the time they do, but sometimes they don't. Or the person who I'm supposed to contact day off, because brides usually don't like being bothered. Many times at a wedding, I am setting up in more than one location, so I ask them to let me know the locations or the rooms that I'm setting up in. That way I know what sound systems I need to bring or how many setups I need to bring, and I know where I'm going, so I'm not so lost when I arrive at the venue, because that always stinks. Now here they have the option to upload files, because many planners and venue coordinators, they will have a map or they'll have a floor layout and they'll say, we want you to set up here. So I just give them the option to upload this here so that I'm not on this forever long email chain. Email chains are still going to happen, but it cuts down on some clutter for me, and at least it's all in one spot. Then 30 days before the wedding happens, they also get another reminder about their song request, as well as a payment reminder. And then 2 weeks out before the final payment, they get another reminder about, hey, your final deposit is due if it has not been paid. Here's another feature of why I love, and think it is so important for using a CRM. I can take notes on the call, and you can even make it visible to the client if you want, or you can keep them private. You can take as many notes as you need. But this is really convenient because these notes show up on the app. If there's any information that was not relevant for the questionnaire that was sent, then I put it in here. Or if I want to take notes during the call that I have with them, the initial call, this before they officially book me, that way I can keep track of personal details and I can include that in the email when I send them the proposal. Here's something that I think is worth noting, because this is one of the key features that sells a lot of other people. When you're in Gmail, it's very easy to get lost in email chains and to lose information. That's one of the huge things that happened to me at the wedding rehearsal, where I showed up not knowing the songs. One great thing about using a CRM, particularly the way that it's laid out in Honeybook, is it is not having to get lost in that Gmail abyss. All the emails that we've had, all of our exchanges are right here. One other issue that I have about musicians not using CRMs is that when we show up, especially to a wedding or to a corporate event, all the other vendors that are present are using these things. I didn't learn about these from other musicians. I had to learn this all on my own, mostly from photographers. And I thought, why don't more musicians know about this? And then I've been using them for so long, I thought that they were common knowledge. And then I go in the Facebook groups and I find out, no, they are not. These are not common knowledge. Okay, so we need to talk about this. If you are feeling like I need this in my life, well, guess what? I have a workshop. Hi, Kim editing in the future here. And I said workshop, but plans changed. It's actually going to be one-on-one as well as some free resources. All the things I'm about to say still apply, but just note that it's going to be one-on-one and those free resources. Carry on. That can walk you through how to set up your own CRM, whether you're doing a bootstrap CRM or whether you're using something like Honeybook or Dubsado or another one of the other big CRMs that are out there. Maybe you're using a band-specific one like Book Live or Back on Stage. We're going to cover everything from choosing the right one for you, then setting it up with the essentials that you need to make sure that your process is smooth and that you don't miss a payment. ever again. You don't miss those contracts. Don't miss those payments, okay? So if you're interested in that, click the link below and let's get your business running smooth like a pro. So thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, share this with other musicians who might need help managing their gigs. Let's get our businesses organized and focus on what matters most, which is making the music and giving a good performance.